Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be recapping the price action from Monday, June 29th, where I took two trades and the winning trade was taken on ES, as you can see here. So let's start off from the daily chart, and I'll switch back to NQ because this was the first trade I take. So let's look at the daily chart and see what the bias was for today. So you can see that the previous day, which was Friday, closed pretty aggressively on NQ, while on the other assets, you can see that we had a C2. So overall, because we had the C2 from Thursday, and then we saw a continuation on Friday, um, I was coming into this Monday with a bearish bias. So I wanted to see 50% of this previous range be held for us to continue lower to these equal lows that were made here. And when we drop down to the 7-hour, you can see that straight from 1800, we have started going up, and we invalidated the 50% of the previous day's range. So I was looking to trade it the other way around, because you can also see that 1800, which is Asia, was pretty expensive to the upside, and we continued that trend throughout London. So what I was expecting for New York to do was just have a shallow retracement back into this London range, and then continue up to this target here, which was a fair value gap on NQ. And you can see that ES had these really nice equal highs, while YM, which as you can see by now, it was the overall strongest to the upside, didn't really have that clear targets, because this week right here was too far of a target, and just maybe 50% of it would be an okay target, I guess. But yeah, I wanted to see either this fair value gap on NQ or these equal highs on ES. So coming into the morning, we have started to consolidate throughout the latter stages of London and the beginning of New York. And I was really, really interested in seeing this just blow through the upside, because we had SMT. So I was trading the continuation. I only needed a cracking correlation, and that crack came right at 9:30. And you can see that just basing it off this low, you can see that this low at 3 o'clock was lower on YM compared to NQ at 9:30. So we can see that NQ took out this low while YM held it. So this again showed that YM was the strongest asset overall, but I didn't like my targets. So that is why I opted to trade NQ. And what was my trade? Well, you can see that we had this really nice rejection, but we didn't manage to close above all of these down close candles. And in the moment, just by looking at it, I should have probably taken ES, because it already closed above all of its respective down close candles. So this was a tiny bit stronger. So I wanted to take NQ anyway, because you can see that all of the other assets were way past these highs here. And I was willing to trade NQ as the lagging asset to the upside. And I have seen that once we close here, this was a pretty nice trade to take, given that we also had this BPR present. And my stop was basically at these sequence of up close candles bodies. And yeah, right as I entered, I got stopped pretty much to the tick, and price started going in my favor. Would I have gone break even? Probably not, because I would have gone break even maybe here, as we were really close to our target. But yeah, I think it was something about the yen intervention here, and we started dropping aggressively. And because NQ was the overall weakest, I initially wanted to get short to the daily open because the wick of this daily candle was already pretty large, and I wasn't expecting us to just drop to all of these lows here. So my target was the daily open, and you can see that we have just wicked that, not even getting down to these lows here. And we started to reject higher, leaving behind fair value gap. So that is really why I got back to longs, because overall, just looking at the daily, you can see that we had basically no wick. So there was no point in trying to trade this even lower, because this is a Monday, first of all, and just basing it off the profile, I didn't want to see this just from this high just completely melt away, and get us to these lows. So I was still leading bullish. And why did I take ES? Well, those equal highs that I mentioned were still in play. And I don't know, just ES seemed like the better trade because it didn't take this daily open, so it was higher than NQ, and I didn't want to take YM because I've seen that it was pretty consolidated, and it had already taken the buy side liquidity that was formed off of the open, and I was trading all of these other assets pretty much as lagging assets to at least this high here. So once we crossed this sequence of down close candles, I basically entered my long, and that was on ES, as I said. So I entered on ES on the 3-minute chart. And why did I take this? Because you can see that if I were to wait for the order block to officially quote unquote form, you can see that the opening of this large sequence is all the way up here. And because my target was just here, I mean, you cannot wait for this CSD to happen all the way up here. So I was trading kind of like a propulsion block in that sense, where it's the next order block created after taking liquidity, but it's not the main CSD. And that is why I took this. You can see that we have an ideal C2 formation where we take out the previous candle's low and immediately close above the sequence of down close candles. We also had this fair value gap that we got inside of, and I think it was also a 15 sweep. Yeah, it was also a 15-minute sweep. We also had this inversion gap created. So everything was pointing once again to the upside. And you can see that we got a bit of chop, and then we got this nice protected swing formed where we took out the short-term liquidity, closed above. I trailed my stop to here. We started slowly grinding back up. Once I've seen that we formed this SMT again with YM, and we closed above this series of down close candles, that was when I moved my stop to break even, and price just continued to grind up higher, taking out all of these equal highs. And that was pretty much the trade. Not the cleanest days, and everything was taken with half risk because this was Monday, and this is my protocol coming into Monday, as I stated, I think about a week ago. Yeah, pretty okay day, down about half hour from the initial move, and then securing this 2.5 hour trade. Overall up really close to 1 hour, so I'll say 1 hour. And yeah, this is gonna be it, guys. If you enjoyed these types of recaps, please don't hesitate to hit that like and the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.